Um, we want to welcome Tim Longman to Boston, new to Boston University. I don't know if you're new to Boston, but he's done a lot of work in Rwanda, as you will see in the booklet. Very important work written about it, but also with Human Rights Watch, head of their office there, doing something really to build on the ground the capacity to both recover and avoid that kind of trauma, not only to that country, but really to the hearts of the whole African world. He's our chair for this first panel. I'll invite him up, and then I'll remind you when your panelists go too far, or not too far, but too long. They can go as far as they like.
So I think you all need to come and take a place before the firing squad. What I'm going to do is to introduce our three panelists, and then I will try to be primarily timekeeper. So I guess if each person can take about 10 minutes, and I'll try to pass little notes as we get close to the time so you can have a sense of the time, and then we'll have plenty of time for discussion afterwards. And we can at least begin discussion, then carry it on later in the day. So let me introduce the three people that we have. We're very fortunate to have them joining us. Before I do that, I just wanted to take a moment to welcome you all here on behalf of the African Studies Center at Boston University. We are glad to have people from throughout the community come here, and just be aware that we have a lot of different events going on. We also have a teacher training going on in our center today on Southern Africa, so it's a very sort of active center with a lot of different things. If you're not on our email list, please just let one of us know. Give us your email address, and we'll be happy to put you on our email list so that you can get announcements about the various events that we do have. And we are very glad to have everyone here, and would like to thank Dovi for all of the work that he's put into this, because he really has been staying up nights and working very hard to try to get everything in place for this event. So thank you to Dovi, and thank you all for showing up today. The first of our panelists is Falun Gong, who is the director of the African language program here at Boston University. We have one of the, if not the strongest African language program in the country, and he has been responsible for really helping to build up our program and make it even stronger than it has been in the past. He has an undergraduate degree from the Université Gaston Berger in Saint Louis, Senegal, has a master's degree from the University of Montana, and then did his PhD work at the University of Illinois. He's a specialist in West African languages, but from an anthropological perspective, so he does linguistic anthropology. And his particular specialty is looking at the use of modified Arabic script to write West African languages. So we're very fortunate to have him today. Dr. Jemadari Kamara, as many of you probably know, is the director of the African, Caribbean, and Community program at UMass Boston. He's someone with very vast experience within West Africa. Started out here getting an undergraduate degree at Tufts, did his advanced work at University of Michigan, and has spent a lot of time in various African countries, has taught at Furabe University and at the Université de Benin. I believe has also been at Gaston Berger, is that correct? And so it's coming with very rich experience throughout West Africa, and we're very fortunate to have him in our community. He's also very involved with the West African Research Association that Jennifer will be speaking later, as well as some of the rest of you are as well. So glad to have you here. And Dr. Zalise Wamali is, as was mentioned, from South Africa. She did her first degree at the University of Fort Hare, which is the oldest and most important historically black university in Southern Africa. And a university, I should mention that both Gaston Berger and Fort Hare are partner universities of the University of Boston University and the African Studies Center here. Her first degree was at Fort Hare. She went on to be a teacher before going back into the university system. She got a master's degree at Stellenbosch University in the Western Cape, and then came to the United States and studied at the University of Iowa. Her degrees are in education and language acquisition and technology in the classroom, and a whole range of various fields. I had the good fortune to travel through South Africa with Professor Molly this summer for a couple of weeks, and can tell you that she is a vast fount of knowledge. You can see that we have a very eminent panel here, and if we can all just welcome them. And I'm going to sit up there so that I can pass notes to say when you're done. So, Professor Ngoma, you were first. You can see how well you could be heard.
Can you hear me? Yeah. All right, good. Since I only have 10 minutes, what I'm going to do
and that's 10 American minutes.
Well, I have to say I'm very pleased and honored to be part of this event. And what I want to do is first to address what I see to be advances in higher education in Africa. I will probably focus on Senegal and French-speaking Africa, with which I am more familiar. And then after that, maybe address some of the issues that I see to be the challenges in higher education in Africa, and then see the opportunities that are out there for the 21st century. So, for the advances in higher education in Africa in general, much more advances have been made that have been acknowledged in the media. If you look at pre-colonial Africa and post-colonial Africa, the number of institutions that have been created by post-colonial government has increased. Okay? So we have numerous institutions that were created by independent African nations, however imperfect these institutions may be. The other point that is also worth mentioning is that the educated population has also increased. And that's in almost all parts of French-speaking Africa. So these are advantages. There is also another important aspect that I think is worth mentioning, is that the gender gap in education is also gradually diminishing as women become more and more educated. Another point that is also, I think, of relevance is the fact that Africa has the youngest population. And they're increasingly interconnected with the world through internet and other technological devices of the 21st century. Some of the new institutions are innovating to provide education that is useful to local communities. And the University of St. Louis Castor-Berger is an example that has departed from the traditional model to create programs that are geared to respond to the local needs. Recently, I think there has been a group of young scholars from the University of St. Louis who worked with Google, and now you can search Google in Wolof, for example. That's a new development. There have also been some new institutions that were created, for example, in Senegal, Bambey, Chess, Ziguinchor, which are new colleges. And I think if they're well reformed, they could be useful to address local challenges in the areas where they're created. Now, despite these signs of progress, clearly there's a lot of things that need to be done in higher education. The first challenge that I see